Hello everyone, my name is Nintendo Gen 64 and this is Jess, Meteora Girl, whatever you want to call yourself.
Is he sure?
I'll put your little social media thing in a little graphic next to you.
Cool.
Anyway, so as some of you might know on my channel, I'm a big James Bond fan. I have seen every James Bond movie multiple times, and the last one came out in 2015, and it's been 6 years between that one and No Time to Die, which is coming out in about a month in Australia. So I thought, hey, why not, in preparation for the final Daniel Craig James Bond movie, watch all the 4 previous ones. So that would be Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, Skyfall, and Spectre. And then I had a thought. Jess has never seen any of them. So why not watch them with her and get her thoughts and opinions on them, and maybe we could do a little quick review after each one. So we literally just got done watching Casino Royale, and I thought I would ask you your thoughts on Casino Royale, the very first Daniel Craig movie. So, first of all, did you like it? What did you think?
It was alright.
Alright, okay.
Alright.
Alright. That's I consider that a win because you've made it very clear to me in the past that you're not a big fan of these kinds of movies.
I've never been... Okay, I have ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
It is incredibly hard for me to get stuck. Even shows I enjoy, even movies I enjoy, it is very hard for me to focus already on stuff. Action movies bore me.
Bore?
Badly. Like,
Okay.
I can't get into them. Really, that's why I never went out of my way to see an Indiana Jones, and I never went out of my way to see a James Bond. Didn't interest me, and yeah, it's like things I enjoy. I have to play a game on my phone when I watch things, and or if I'm at the cinema, I will just buy a massive amount of popcorn, even when I'm not hungry, because I need to have something else I'm focusing on. And I already had a bad opinion on James Bond because of this whole thing of like. Which, I feel like this movie kind of showed of just like all these women that instantly see him for the first time and instantly want to sleep with him. And then you'll see like a couple scenes later and he's already sleeping with them and then he forgets about them. I don't know. I don't like it.
Well, anyway, just for those of you who have never seen Casino Royale, essentially it's basically about the origin story of Daniel Craig's James Bond, and it's about him trying to thwart this this guy, Le Chiffre, who's trying to raise money for his terrorist organization, and James Bond thwarts a previous plan of his to short the stocks of an airline company, and so he's out of money. He's out $110 million, they say, so he has to run a big high-stakes poker tournament. And Bond goes in, and of course he wins the poker tournament, and then he gets all the money, and then things happen. But I understand, like, that little synopsis. I can understand that even if you're paying strict attention, you can kind of miss things. Like, these movies do have complicated plots. To a fault, perhaps. But before
Which would go completely over my brain.
Right, yeah. So things that I guess I could ask you about, things that maybe would be more straightforward, is what did you think of Daniel Craig, first of all? What do you think of this guy? Do you think just tell me your brief opinion on him.
Very egotistical.
Yes.
At this point in time, you would be rooting for him because he's James Bond. Because this is origin story, you'd be rooting for him because you know it's James Bond, but to me, I wouldn't, going into that, if that's the first movie I watched, I'm not going to be... Yeah, he's the good guy. He's a good guy. But he's not that great of a guy.
Right.
To be honest, it's like...
I mean, they explain that he's a blunt instrument, right? And the movie's about him, I guess, learning to... deal with emotions as well as being a like agent for MI6, and he opens himself up to a character, to Vesper Lind. He opens himself up to her.
Oh, that's good. He
allows himself to fall in love with her, only to then gloss over some of her more, I guess, egregious parts of her, like the fact that she's been blackmailed into essentially rerouting the winnings from the casino tournament for the organization. Don't you think like it was a good little like hopeless romantic thing, and then he lets his guard down finally, and then she takes advantage of him? Did you not think that was interesting, or did you like
I
that?
did. I did
done?
actually like that bit, but does that? I don't know. How do I say it? But does that make him? From what I've heard with always womanizing and stuff, is that like the way of justifying the way he is?
Well, I think
when it comes to other movies and the other way he treats other women, is it because, well, I fell in love with this woman and then this happened, so I, you know?
I think the way you have to treat this one though is as if those other movies didn't exist, and I think that he becomes very vulnerable, especially after the casino stuff. After that, when he is in the care facility, right? He's literally in a vulnerable position. He's just had his he literally had his manhood assaulted by Lashif, and he's in a care facility at his most vulnerable, and he allows himself to be, loved and fall in love, right? And then after that happens, he's basically betrayed. And even after M explains that he's betrayed because she was blackmailed by the organization, he still coldly calls her a bitch. He's like, that bitch got what she deserved. Like, he literally says like that after he even finds out the truth. So it's not exactly like he's come around on her. And I think perhaps you could argue that it was one of the worst things to happen to his character, because it sends him now down a path of not trusting anyone. And it kind of enforces a kind of negative, I guess, stereotype upon the guy. Like, you can't trust anyone. Anyone, even someone you love, could betray you. What do you think of that? I don't know. I like this movie, for the record. I'm just trying to point out perhaps some elements that you might be having personal prejudice based on what you kind of already know about the Bond franchise. You know?
Yeah. That's sad. I did actually like that. Like him actually falling in love with her, and it was really sad when she died. Yeah, that was just a sad bit. I think it's just hard for this movie. I don't know if anyone else would feel the same, but with ADHD, but honestly, my ADHD brain could not get into it. It's just action movies. I can't do it. And it was like, there was like a good chunk of it based on a poker game. I couldn't.
But did you not feel that the film was quite good in breaking the action up a little bit? Like,
it was quite good. It was quite good, and there were actually quite a lot of good scenes, like a lot of good intensity scenes. I liked.
Well, what did you think of the villain of the movie, Le Chiffre? Because we know him from Hannibal.
Yes,
Mads Mikkelsen.
Oh, he's a great actor. I really enjoyed that. Can we? Oh, well, we're basically doing spoilers.
This movie came out 15 years ago.
Yeah,
We
true.
can spoil
His death was very abrupt.
Yeah, that's right. It was.
But I did like him. That is a great actor.
Mads Mikkelsen is one of... I recently, earlier this year, saw a movie of his called Another Round, where he plays
I remember you going to that.
He plays an alcoholic teacher. Like, he plays a school teacher who tries what it's like to be an alcoholic, and he's very good in it.
Yes,
I've
seen
Danish
the trailer for that.
Yeah, it was on SBS. It's a Danish film movie, Danish language film. I would highly recommend it. He is great in this movie, and I'll tell you why I quite liked the way he was. I used to, when I was younger, when I first saw this movie, I had a big problem with that. I thought, why would you kill him in such an abrupt way? Why would he not get his comeuppance at the hands of Bond? Well, I liked how desperate this guy became. Because they set it up early on that he's like a banker, and he's raising money for these people, these terrorist organizations, and then he obviously loses the money when he fails to short the stocks of the airplane company. So then he's already kind of like, his back's against the wall, and then he plays the poker tournament, and he tries to win. And you see there's that scene where the Ugandan terrorist guys try to cut the arm off his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And he doesn't, react to it. He doesn't say stop. He doesn't say don't do it. He's like, he would have let them do it. He is such a slimy guy, right?
Yeah.
And then later on, in that same scene, in that same section of the movie, when Bond starts to beat him in the poker tournament, what does he do? When he can't win fair and square, he drugs him and tries to literally kill him. He tries to poison his martini. And then he's a desperate guy. And then even after he loses, he still tries to interrogate him for the money. and then gets shot. So there was nowhere else for him to really go. And he played it with such like sliminess, and I actually said this in a review I did of Skyfall about 9 years ago. I said that I was talking about the villain in that movie, and I said he's the best villain since Elliot Carver, who's the guy in Tomorrow Never Dies, which came out a few years earlier than this one. No, this guy, Mads Mikkelsen, Lashif, is fantastic. Seriously, he is up there with some of the best. You liked him?
I did. But he is a great actor.
He is a great actor. We stan Mads Mikkelsen.
We stan.
And I guess the other stuff to really like go over too is, you mentioned how you kind of couldn't focus on the action scenes, but I thought that like the opening of this film is very well paced with the
Oh yeah, the opening was good. I mean, he had no like care at all for property.
Yeah, I know.
Just like okay. Did he need Look, they're probably all bad guys, but still, did he need to get I don't even know what it's called. It's like the building machinery, the truck thing with the little thing at the front.
The forklift?
No, the like thing that drive in and scoops things up.
Yeah.
So I don't know why I'm doing that, but scoops things up.
The scoopy thing. I'll put a clip on the screen.
The scoopy thing, and he just drives it. They just goes, I can't run up and chase this guy. What are you gonna do? I'll just go and get that machinery thing that someone else is driving. So he's clearly thrown someone else out of the thing, and they've just drove it through a fence. And then this guy's went, I'm just going to jump on the roof. And he's like, okay, I'll just drive into a building.
Don't you think...
That's what I'll do. He ends up blowing up some scaffolding for some poor buildings trying to do their job. They made so much damage.
I guess James Bond was...
He has no care for property.
I guess he was more concerned about stopping a terrorist organization or something.
But why is the first thing in your head going... You cannot tell me that vehicle went that fast.
I don't know, man. There is a certain level of suspension of disbelief you have to have in these movies. And look, I understand the destruction of property, but again, he is a blunt instrument, right, as they say, so he's likely to not be... This is like his first mission as a 00 agent, right? Because at the very, very start of the movie, he becomes a 00 agent by killing those two guys. By the way, I love the scene with the guy where he pulls his like gun out and he shoots him and he's like, I know where you keep your gun, and then the guy is talking about, well, the first kill is hard, but the second one is even more. And then before he gets a chance to finish his sentence, Bond just kills him. Right? It sets off the bat like this guy is not to be like. You don't know where you stand with Daniel Craig's Bond. Like he's he's arrogant, sure, but he's also like, he knows his stuff. He knows what a poker tell is. He knows how to how to play these people. Like, that poker stuff is real, like, we like the show Criminal Minds, right?
Yeah.
There's a great scene on the train where they are having this back and forth conversation, him and Vesper, where they're basically deducing things about each other. And we don't know how, like, if he gets anything right. Like, we don't know if he's actually right about his, like, opinion on her. But I really like that scene, actually. I used to think it was very pretentious when I first saw it. And I've really come around to liking the scene. So I guess overall, like, we'll just keep this, like, sort of brief. My next question to you is, after watching this movie, are you interested in seeing Quantum of Solace?
I'll watch it. I'm interested.
Oh, okay, there you go. She's interested. And my other question to you...
I mean, let's be honest, I don't really have a choice.
No, you got a choice. We can stop right now.
I'll watch it.
We can stop right now.
I'm not a quitter.
Okay, she's not a quitter. Alright, cool. So, my other question is, you got 5 stars. This is a movie. We rate these out of 5 stars. What do you give it?
3.
3? That's pretty good. That's slightly above average.
Yeah, look, it's not an awful movie. And it's probably the fact of, I just can't really get into action films, so... Okay, so... So, to be honest with you, but it had good things. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, 3 seems right.
I mean, I'm glad you liked the villain, you liked the girl, you liked Vesper. Played wonderfully by Eva Green. She's tremendous, and I could talk about her for a long time. And I guess you like the intrigue, I guess. Yeah, you like the intrigue. And what did you think of Judi Dench's M, by the way? His boss. Do you like her?
Oh yeah, she's good.
Yeah, she's good. I forgot how little she was. A little of her was in this film. For some reason, I thought she was in this movie a ton, and she's only in like 4 or 5 scenes.
Well, she's the only... When I think of that character, she's the only one I think about. To be honest with you, because it's like, if this is meant to be the origin story, she hasn't been in any of the others besides the newer ones.
She was in some of the Pierce Brosnan ones in the 90s.
Oh,
Yeah.
that explains
She started-
it. Because I was like, if Daniel Craig's ones are the only ones that she's been in, then she's really good, because I've only ever, whenever I think of that character, I only think of her.
That's
So
good.
if she's been in other ones, then...
Yeah.
Kind of
Well,
explains it.
the guy, the Q, not the Q. Well, Q shows up later, but the M that takes over from her, you'll recognize who he is, and I think you'll like him. But that doesn't happen for another couple of movies, so you're gonna have to stick around.
Who's that?
The new M, once she... This is already a spoiler, I can't even...
I'm going to Google it.
No, don't
I'm gonna Google
it's a
it.
spoiler. You haven't seen these movies, you gotta go in blind.
No, I'm not.
My personal rating, by the way, for Casino Royale, I've tossed this up a few times. I think I would go... You went 3, I'm gonna go 4 out of 5. I'll tell you why. I didn't go the full 5 stars. Because there is some structural things I don't like about this movie so much. And I think... the first thing is it is a bit disjointed in terms of like its structure and pacing. There's a clear like this is the first kind of subplot about the guy trying to destroy the plane. This is the poker stuff. This is the post-poker stuff. And there is a big third act lull in this movie right after Le Chiffre is killed. There is like this bit where, you know, in the health clinic thing, there's lots of like just kind of slowish scenes. I understand why they're there. Look, don't worry. I understand that.
Just a lot of sexual innuendos.
I understand that we need to like re-go over the Bond Vesper thing, but I thought their relationship was strong enough at that point that it kind of just does slow down the film quite a bit with him kind of being inactive, and then him resigning from MI6 as well kind of bothered me because he just started, and if I'm watching this movie, I'm like, isn't the whole first bit about him becoming a 00 agent, right? And then he's resigning. I'm like, I don't know about that. And I think the other thing is to Mr. White's character. I understand that he's like meant to be this big reveal at the end, but I feel like he appears so briefly and infrequently that he could become a blink and you miss it character. And then at the end, it's like, why am I supposed to care about this guy? And especially because I know he kills Le Chiffre and it's meant to create like this suspense and like this drama, but we don't really... I guess it's one of those things. It's like you don't know who he is or what he's about, and is the mystery of that more intimidating? I don't know. But we're going to have to find out because we're going to watch Quantum of Solace in a couple of days or a week or whenever, and we'll give you our thoughts on that. So thank you for watching. Tune in for that one, and I hope you enjoyed our review of a 15-year-old movie.
See ya!
Alright, so long for now.
Mwah.